If the biggest lie ever told about aging is the quiet sentence people repeat at birthday parties after someone turns 65, well, it's all downhill from here? What if that sentence, said with a little laugh and a slice of cake, is more dangerous than we realize? Because here's something nobody says loudly enough. Turning 65 does not flip a biological switch that suddenly drains your strength, shrinks your muscles, and steals your independence overnight. It doesn't. And yet, walk into almost any neighborhood, any grocery store, any waiting room, and you'll see the pattern. The shoulders rounding forward, the steps getting smaller, the hands gripping the railing tighter, the sigh before standing up. And somewhere in that picture, there's a story we've all accepted without questioning it. That's just aging. But is it? Or is it something slower, quieter, almost invisible, something that creeps in, not because the body wants to fail, but because it adapts to what we repeatedly ask of it? Think about this carefully. The human body is not sentimental. It doesn't hold on to muscle because you used to need it. It holds on to muscle because you still use it. After 30, we all begin to lose small amounts of muscle mass every decade. And by the time we reach our 60s, the rate can accelerate if nothing interrupts it. Researchers, including experts at the National Institute on Aging, have explained that this gradual muscle loss, often called sarcopenia, can reduce strength, balance, and mobility over time. But what gets missed in the conversation is this critical detail. The body responds dramatically to stimulus, even in later decades. Even at 70, even at 80. The tragedy is not that the body cannot rebuild. The tragedy is that many people stop giving it a reason to. Imagine a man named Robert, 66 years old, retired after 40 years of waking up at 5 a.m., carrying tools, climbing ladders, moving with purpose. The day after retirement, he slept in. It felt earned, deserved. He traded steel-toed boots for slippers. Coffee at the kitchen table replaced the rush of a worksite. And slowly, so slowly, he didn't notice his daily movement dropped by half. Then by more. No more lifting heavy equipment. No more climbing stairs repeatedly. No more long walks across parking lots. Weeks became months. Muscles that had been challenged for decades were suddenly unnecessary. And the body, efficient as ever, began to let them go. Not maliciously, not dramatically, just quietly. A little less muscle fiber here, a little less power there. One day he reached for a box in the garage and felt weaker than he remembered. "I guess I'm getting old," he muttered. But was it age? Or was it adaptation? Now picture another story. Maria, 72, widowed at 68. The first year after her husband passed, she barely left the house. Grief can weigh more than any dumbbell. She sat more, ate less, slept poorly. Her muscles shrank not only from inactivity, but from undernourishment. Many seniors unknowingly eat far less protein than their bodies require. Toast and tea for breakfast. A small bowl of soup for dinner. It feels light, easy, but muscle is built from protein, and as we age, our bodies become less efficient at using it. That means older adults often need more high-quality protein, not less, to maintain muscle. Medical centers like the Mayo Clinic often emphasize the importance of strength training and adequate nutrition for older adults, because muscle isn't just about appearance. It protects against falls, supports joints, stabilizes blood sugar, and keeps daily life manageable. But Maria didn't know that at first. She just felt tired, smaller, less steady. And here's the emotional part nobody likes to talk about. Sometimes weakness after 65 isn't just physical. It's psychological. Somewhere deep inside, people begin to accept a new identity. "I'm old now." That sentence sounds harmless, but it carries weight. When you believe decline is inevitable, you stop resisting it. You avoid the stairs instead of climbing them slowly. You sit instead of standing. You ask for help with groceries instead of trying to carry one bag yourself. Not because you can't, but because you assume you shouldn't. The body listens to these assumptions. It adapts to caution. It shrinks to match lowered expectations. And then one day, the loss of strength feels sudden. But it wasn't sudden. It was negotiated over years. Another hidden thief is fear. After a single fall, or even hearing about a friend's fall, many seniors move less. They shuffle instead of stride. They avoid uneven sidewalks. They grip furniture. It's understandable. Falling is frightening. But ironically, the less you challenge your balance, the worse it becomes. Balance is a skill maintained by the nervous system, and it requires practice. Muscles in the hips, legs, and core must fire quickly to stabilize you. When they're not trained, they weaken. Reaction time slows. Confidence drops. It becomes a cycle. And yet, here's the hopeful twist that almost feels unfair in its simplicity. When older adults begin even light resistance training chair stands, wall push-ups, resistance bands, light weights, the body often responds faster than expected. Studies repeatedly show that people in their 70s and 80s can increase strength significantly with consistent effort. It's not about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about telling the body, we still need this. Muscles are metabolically expensive tissue. If they're not required, the body reduces them to conserve energy. But when you demand effort, when you stand up from a chair without using your hands, when you carry groceries, when you climb stairs, the body upgrades instead of downgrades. Hormones also shift with age. Testosterone, growth hormone, and other anabolic signals decline. That's normal. But physical activity can help optimize what remains. Sedentary behavior accelerates decline. Movement slows it. It's not magic. It's stimulus and response. And then there's social withdrawal. Retirement can shrink daily steps dramatically. Jobs often require walking, lifting, interacting. Remove that structure, and physical demand collapses. Without intentional replacement walking routines, group classes, gardening, volunteer work, the body assumes retirement means reduction. But aging doesn't require retreat. Some of the strongest seniors are those who treat retirement as a redirection, not an ending. They hike, they dance, they learn new sports. They travel and carry their own bags. They refuse to negotiate away their strength without a fight. So when we ask, why do most seniors lose strength after 65? The answer is layered. It's partly biological, yes. Sarcopenia exists. Hormones shift. Recovery may take longer. But the larger driver is disuse, undernutrition, fear, lowered expectations, and identity shift. It's the slow surrender to comfort, the gradual trade of challenge for convenience. And the most shocking truth? Much of it is reversible. Not overnight, not without effort, but reversible. The body at 70 is still astonishingly adaptable. Muscle fibers still respond to tension. Bones still respond to load. The nervous system still learns. And confidence especially returns when strength returns. Imagine standing up from a chair and not needing momentum. Imagine walking across a parking lot without scanning for the closest spot. Imagine carrying your grandchild without hesitation. That is not fantasy reserved for the genetically blessed. That is the outcome of consistent, moderate, intelligent effort. Aging is inevitable. Frailty is not always inevitable. There is a difference. And that difference lives in daily decisions, so small they seem insignificant. Stand instead of sit. Walk instead of ride. Lift instead of avoid. Eat to nourish, not just to satisfy. Speak about yourself as capable, not declining. These aren't dramatic changes. They are quiet rebellions against the myth of inevitable weakness. And the earlier you begin, even if earlier is 67 or 74, the greater the return. Because strength is not only about muscle fibers. It's about autonomy, dignity, the ability to live without constant fear of dependency. And that is worth protecting. Now here's the part that might surprise you even more. Strength after 65 isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. And the difference between those two things is enormous. There are people who live long, but shrink emotionally and physically. And there are others who age with presence, with stability, with a kind of grounded power that makes you forget their number entirely. What separates them isn't luck alone, and it certainly isn't perfect genetics in most cases. It's behavior repeated long enough to shape biology. When scientists study aging populations, they often notice something fascinating. Communities where older adults remain physically active in daily life, walking hills, gardening, carrying supplies, interacting socially, tend to show lower rates of frailty. It's not because they avoided aging. It's because they kept engaging with it. Strength is deeply connected to engagement. The moment you disengage from physical demand, decline accelerates. And yet society subtly encourages disengagement. Comfortable chairs, elevators, delivery services, remote controls, everything designed to reduce effort. Comfort becomes the default. But the human body was built for effort, built for resistance, built for motion. When you remove those elements, systems downregulate. Muscle fibers shrink. Mitochondria decrease. Neuromuscular coordination dulls. Even posture collapses without regular extension and load. It sounds technical, but it plays out in very simple ways. Difficulty opening jars, slower walking speed, needing arms to push off from a chair. These are early whispers of deconditioning. They are not moral failures. They are signals. Signals that the body wants stimulus. And here's where hope explodes into the story. Older muscle is not dead muscle. It is dormant muscle waiting for demand. In supervised trials, individuals in their 80s have doubled strength in certain movements within months of consistent resistance training. That doesn't mean heavy barbells necessarily. It can mean resistance bands, controlled bodyweight exercises, gradual progression. The body doesn't care about the brand of equipment. It cares about tension. Repeated tension with recovery and nourishment triggers adaptation. Add sufficient protein, often around 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight for many healthy older adults, unless medically restricted, and muscle protein synthesis improves. Combine that with vitamin D adequacy, hydration, and sleep, and the foundation strengthens further. But let's get human again. Imagine you're 68 and you notice your balance isn't what it used to be. Instead of saying, "I'm just getting old," you decide to practice standing on one leg while holding the kitchen counter. 10 seconds, then 15. Over weeks, your stabilizing muscles wake up. Your brain sharpens its coordination. Your fear reduces slightly. Confidence grows. That confidence spills into other actions. You walk a bit faster. You carry one more grocery bag. You take the stairs once a day instead of avoiding them completely. Small shifts compound. Months later, your doctor comments that your gait looks stronger. You smile quietly because you know the secret. It wasn't age that determined your trajectory. It was decision. That is empowering in a way that almost feels rebellious. Of course, not every limitation can be erased. Arthritis exists. Chronic illness exists. Injuries happen. But even within constraints, adaptation is possible. Movement can be modified. Resistance can be scaled. Progress can be relative. The goal is not perfection. It's preservation and improvement where possible. It's refusing to surrender capacity unnecessarily. And here is something tender but important. Strength training is not vanity for older adults. It is insurance. Insurance against falls, against fractures, against losing independence, against relying entirely on others for simple tasks. It is protection of dignity. When you frame it that way, it stops feeling optional. It becomes essential. So if you are reading this, and you are over 65, or you love someone who has let this be the interruption of the myth, let this be the moment you question the quiet acceptance of decline. Because yes, aging changes the body, but disuse transforms it faster than time ever could. And the reverse is also true. Intentional use can slow and sometimes partially reverse what seemed inevitable. The body is adaptable until the very end. That is its nature. The real question is not, will strength decline after 65? The question is, how much are you willing to challenge the decline? That answer lives in daily choices, in protein on your plate, in tension in your muscles, in the words you use about yourself, in whether you choose the chair or the walk, in whether you believe improvement is still possible. Because it is. It really is. And if there is one suggestion to carry forward from all of this, let it be this: begin gently, but begin consistently. Engage in resistance-based movement at least 2 or 3 times per week using safe, manageable exercises. Nourish your body with adequate protein and hydration. Practice simple balance drills daily. And most importantly, refuse to adopt the identity of inevitable weakness, because the story you tell yourself about aging will quietly shape the strength you either keep or surrender in the years ahead.